Hey guys, welcome back to Khanvolution. My name's Khan, and right now I'm going to be discussing RWBY Volume 3, Chapter 10, titled Battle of Beacon. If you guys haven't checked out my reaction to Chapter 10 or Chapter 9 and its respective discussion video, I'll leave all the links down in the description below as well as up here so you guys can go ahead and check those out. So you guys can have a better clue of what my mindset is and what the state of my mentality is going through these chapters. And like I said, this discussion video is specifically for Chapter 10, and there's definitely a whole lot that takes place this chapter. I mean, especially after leaving off Chapter 9, which left on a very somber note with the death of Penny and opening up a whole bunch of possibilities of where this series can go, where the creators can take the story. And Chapter 10 just takes it on a completely insane level. And of course, we know that RWBY is no novice to drawing references from other source material, but this chapter completely goes bonkers with that shit. So I had a whole lot of fun with this chapter, but the way it ended, it definitely made me more fearful of where the next few chapters were gonna go. So I can't wait to discuss all these with you, and let's go ahead and jump into the discussion. 3, 2, 1, sun! Silhouette against the moon, baby, yes! So I took a whole bunch of notes again, and the first thing I really want to discuss is that opening scene, because we basically open on the festival grounds, and all the Grimm have invaded, and the Elysian Knights are trying to keep them at bay while all the citizens are fleeing, and they're fleeing from the tournament dome as well, and the White Fang are bringing and flying in more Grimm as people leave. I mean, I don't even know how they got the Grimm in there in these planes and had them like stay in there in the first place. And there's fire, destruction everywhere, and amidst all that chaos, you know, Blake and Weiss are running through the field and, you know, trying to ascertain where their girls be. Are they all right? Yang wants to know if her little sister's okay. In that conversation, we hear that Blake realizes that the White Fang are in part responsible for all this ensuing chaos, and Weiss asks her, you know, what do we do? And Blake, her response to that is actually quite mature, and it shows you how much she's developed as a character these past couple of volumes, because just in last volume, towards the end of last volume, you know, she talks about herself as being this person who always runs away from the fight. And, you know, Adam is basically her symbolism of her previous life, her previous relationship, her previous connection with the White Fang itself. And, you know, she's left all that behind, you know, started a new life, and just goes to show how, you know, her teammates, how starting life at Beacon, how, you know, starting her journey as a huntress has really affected her, because what she says to Weiss is that we do what we're meant to do. We do what we've been trained to do, is go to the docks and, you know, try to protect as many people as we can and fight off as many Grimm as we can, and pretty much try and save the day as best as we can, you know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show how much she's developed as a character, how much this camaraderie with her teammate has affected her, and how, you know, the school has changed her overall. And she says it with such new resolve that it just, you know, it makes me feel really good for her, you know what I'm saying? Now the next scene, of course, like I said, I want to talk about all those references. Of course, the first reference is, of course, when that Nevermore breaks into the stadium. You know, you see Pyrrha and RWBY are just completely broken after what has happened, you know? They're just completely staring at the ground, unable to fathom exactly, unable to contemplate exactly what's happened, trying to hope that, you know, everything just happened was just a dream, none of it's real. But of course, the Nevermore pretty much shatters that as he like shatters through the dome and tries to attack Pyrrha, and Pyrrha is still like, you know, stagnant after everything that's happened. And then right as the Nevermore comes, all those freaking, you know, lockers and you know, pretty much meteor storm the hell out of that Nevermore, and when everybody's weapons are revealed, it is such an amazing scene. But basically, okay, so you guys saw that scene, right? You know, with the swords and shields and everything coming out. This is how I saw it. So the Avengers Endgame theme was just playing in my head while that whole thing, and they're all assembled. It was really fun to see that scene amidst all that, you know, sadness and terror that was happening. And of course, you know, there was a brief moment when, you know, Penny's sword, the Nevermore was stabbed with a Penny sword, and I was thinking, oh my god, is she alive? And then obviously, you know, it's RWBY who's carrying her friend's sword, trying to protect her other friend. 2 victims, 1 sword. Seeing her carry her friend's weapon into battle was just an incredible moment. And it really, you could really feel it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But everybody assembled together, and seeing that all these various different characters who we've seen throughout the tournament finally coming together, fighting together as like one unit is just absolutely awesome. The way they take that Nevermore, and these Nevermores, you know, I guess the only way to take them down is through decapitation, you know what I'm saying? Hey, whatever works, you know? We all got to see some new Griffin Grimms, which are literally called Griffins. You know, they try to attack. And of course, you know, Dr. Ooblik and Professor Port have have to keep them off. They're like the perfect duo to, you know, they're basically taking down an army within the stadium. They tell the students to leave. When the kids leave the stadium and Professor Port and Dr. Oobleck are there, he says this thing that I mentioned in my reaction video that, you know, I've had a similar moment like that. What I meant by that was that there's a line that Dr. Oobleck says that this day will surely go down in Remnant's history forever. And it really hit me because during the September 11 attacks, I was actually in school. I was in middle school at that time, and my teacher, of course, all the students were there, and we had no idea what had happened, or you know, we were so young that we couldn't even begin to fathom what had happened. And our teacher walks in with this very grim look, and I remember her saying that this day will surely go down in, you know, our world's history forever. She says something along the lines of that, and just, you know, that line, and, you know, just learning about what had happened that morning, it just stuck with me. And hearing Dr. Oobleck utter those same words, it just took me back to that horrific moment. You know, that moment just stood out to me so much more in this chapter, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of professors, we see General Ironwood trying to leave with the Elysian Knights. He says he's gonna take back his troops, which doesn't go the way he expects, but at least he gives the students a choice. You know, nobody will think negatively if you run away, but, you know, you have two choices. Either you can run away or you can stay and fight. And of course, there ain't nobody gonna run away. You know, if John ain't running away, ain't nobody gonna run away, you know what I'm saying? But obviously he goes into the ship and things don't end up the way he wants at all. Obviously you see Torchwick on the flagship, and he puts his, you know, scroll on, and it activates the chess piece virus, and the virus basically infects all the soldiers, all the Elysian Knights. For some reason, you know, I always thought that they were gonna take control of, you know, their technology and stuff, but still seeing the Elysian Knights coming into activation with that red glow and, you know, the chess piece virus, it still surprised me at the end. And the way they just turned around on the ship and Ironwood just shouting no, it really freaked me out. And that explosion is just, like I said, it mimicked Star Wars in so many ways. I kept shouting, you know, Order 66, Order 66.
Execute Order 66.
If you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, so seeing that moment take place, it was just absolutely insane. And of course, Ozpin, you know, after seeing all that chaos, he starts to march off, grabs his cane. It just reminded me of Yoda. And Ozpin is, you know, wearing some green, you know, he's got some green in there. And now there's this crazy panning shot where you see everyone fighting everybody, and amidst all that, you see Blake fighting the White Fang, and you see Weiss fighting the Elysian Knights. It's just an absolute crazy contrast, because, you know, Blake was once part of the White Fang, Weiss as a citizen of Atlas, and to have them fighting basically symbols of who they are, fighting a part of themselves in a way. For them to fight soldiers of their own respective organizations / nations is just an incredible contrast to draw upon for this series. I believe, what was it, in the second volume where Ozpin mentions, you know, the Great War and everybody coming together, and the reason these teams were based on colors is to symbolize this camaraderie between all the nations, all different types of people. And this last battle really homes that in, you know, because you got to see all these students from these different kingdoms coming together. It doesn't matter where the problem originates from, everybody has to come together and address that problem and ultimately work together to solve it. And in this case, it just happens to be in a huge battle scale event, you know what I'm saying? Towards the end of this chapter, you see Blake seeing Adam for the first time after a very long time, ever since the Black trailer, you know? So this is gonna, I mean, when I was watching this chapter, I was like, holy crap, shit is about to go down. What's gonna happen? I was incredibly scared for Blake. But what actually happens, I could not have imagined at all. It's just insane. But more on that in the chapter 11 discussion for sure. While everything is happening, of course, Mercury is basically filming everything, and Cinder just wants this whole world to see it more, because the more people see and the more they're able to show people, the more Cinder is gonna use that, you know, newly generated chaos to further progress her schemes, progress her plan, her diabolical plan, basically. And just as Ozpin is basically about to go into combat, right, we see the unleashing of freaking the grim Smaug dragon. I mean, when that scene was playing, I was literally thinking of this. The way he just flies off, he explodes, and the music dies down, and it's just pure silence, and you see the dragon against this dragon silhouette against the moon. It's just absolutely insane. I mean, it's just, things just progressively get worse in this chapter. This chapter does such a good job in building up your hype with everybody together. You think there's gonna be an epic battle, you think Penny is gonna be avenged, you think, you know, everybody's gonna work together to beat the evil, but no, everything just gets worse. Ironwood ship goes down, huge Smaug dragon pops up, you think, and he pops up right when Osmond's about to go off. You think like, oh, this badass Yoda-ass Dumbledore motherfucker gonna come and like kick everybody's ass. You know, we never seen what his powers are, but you know, obviously it doesn't go that way. You know, what the end of this volume does really well is it subverts your expectations in the best kind of ways, of course. And the chapter ends with a very dark moment with Ozpin just standing at the entrance of the main tower, the beacon tower, and looks at Pyrrha, and Pyrrha knows exactly what must be done. And little do they know, Cinder's watching from afar, and she's been waiting for this exact moment where they have no other option but to transfer that power right now. And it's just like, when I was watching that, I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? But the moment I saw Cinder's face, I was just like, oh my god, these next couple of chapters, they're not gonna be good. That there's nothing good that can come out of this. I mean, I still had hope in me that something good was gonna happen, but you know, we'll discuss how that hope is so easily extinguished in these next chapter discussions. And it's just absolutely insane. Like I said, this chapter was an incredible roller coaster ride of emotions. These last 4 chapters altogether have been an incredible roller coaster ride of emotions. So that was my discussion for this chapter, guys. Everything I was able to catch upon a couple of rewatches. I actually just rewatched it like a few times right before doing this discussion, so you know, everything's fresh in my head. But what did you guys think? Leave your comments down below. Is there anything I missed or forgot to mention or forgot to notice? You guys can leave down below, and I'll see you guys later in the RWBY Volume 3 Chapter 11 discussion. Everything just gets worse and worse from here on out, and I cannot wait to discuss it with you guys. So until then, have a wonderful day or a wonderful night wherever you guys are, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe, hit that like button, and feel free to share the video, and I'll see you guys next time.